Quarantine sip and paint. Welcome. Here are the things that you're going to need. You don't have to have everything. Whatever you have will work. We'll go through it step by step. All right. You're going to need 3 colors. Definitely a white and then 2 other colors of any choice that you want. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is paint the surface of our canvas or your paper. Whichever you have. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to use green, okay? And you don't need a whole lot. If you're using acrylics dry really fast, so you don't need a whole bunch at a time, okay? And I'm going to use my palette knife. You're welcome to use a brush. If you're going to use a brush, you just dip it in a little bit of water, okay? And then you go like that on your surface. All right. If you're going to use a palette knife, you just go right through. Okay, and just take your time. It doesn't matter. You don't have to cover every single piece of white. You just I like using a palette knife because I can scrape and then put it somewhere else. Okay. So you scrape and you put it. Now, if you don't have a palette knife, you can use your plastic spoon or you can use your knife to do the same thing I'm doing with the palette knife, okay? All right, so here we go. So you just cover all of that up. Now it might look like, if you're using the palette knife, it might feel like you need more paint. Don't go get more paint yet. Just scrape on it. Okay, just scrape and move the paint. Scrape and move the paint. Now you're gonna scrape on the side, not with that. You're gonna scrape on the side, not like this, but like that. So you scrape and you move the paint. Okay, scrape and move the paint. Scrape and move the paint. Now acrylics are washable, so if you get it on your hands, it's not a problem. It'll wash right off. Okay? So scrape and move, scrape and move, scrape and move. So, see? So just keep moving it. All right? Now, I like texture. So, if you're somebody who likes texture in your paint, you're not going to worry about it being uniform. You're just going to leave it textured as it is, okay? Now, if you're somebody who wants things to be uniform, then you're going to take your brush and dab it a little bit with your towel so it's not too liquidy, and just go over it, okay? To give you the texture that you want. You see, two different textures. You have this texture. You have this texture, and then you have that texture. 2 different textures. So if you want to go brush, you can do that. Okay? And then if you want to go with your palette knife or your spoon or your knife, you go this way. All right? Okay. So, let me get this really quickly. Okay. Every time you make a painting and you want to hang it up, the white side is very distracting. So what you do is you try your best to cover up the white side. Okay, so a lot of times the best time to cover it would be at the very beginning. At the end, you know, you can choose to change it, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I like to do it at the very beginning. So you can go ahead, and I'm going to use my copper for the side. So whatever color you have, you know, just go ahead and put some down. Okay. And I'm going to use the copper for my side. So just dab in there, and it doesn't matter if it's mixed with the green, because it's color is so important when you're doing a painting, because if a person sees your painting, what is it that they're seeing, you know? Do you want them to see what they're seeing, or you just want them something that draws them to your painting? Okay, so you just brush the sides really quick. Nothing fancy, you know. Just make sure you have enough paint there to cover up. Sometimes you'll have to come up and do a second run. That's okay. A first run is okay too, because you're just trying to cover up your white. So it all depends on you. Some people like it where it's really, really thick on the side. I just like it light, so it doesn't take away from the main painting. Okay. All right, so this is the last section. And like I said, acrylics are washable. So, and if you're using watercolor, it's the same concept. You know, it's washable, so you don't have to worry about it getting stuck on your hands. You can just wash it with soap and water. Wash your hands, wash your hands. Okay, so here we go. All right. So now while this is drying, you can just set it aside for it to dry for right now. Okay. So what we're going to do next is mix our paint, different types, different paints. All right. Now when you're painting, you have to remember what is it that you want your painting to say. Okay. So let's start with the colors. You decide what colors you want and then go from there. So for this one, I'm going to show you how to mix paint. So I'm going to use a spoon. Okay. If you have a spoon, great. If you don't, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the light color. So you put some white down. Okay. Now don't put too much because your surface is not that big. Okay. All right. You can always add later. All right. So then we're going to make a light color. Okay. So I'm going to make a light green. So just put just a tad bit of green in there. Not too much, just a tad bit. This is going to be my lightest color. So you just put a tad bit of green. Okay. And then you mix it up. There you have that beautiful, beautiful light green. Have that beautiful green right there. Okay. So you mix that up like that. All right. You mix up your green. And you have the beautiful green right there. Okay, that's your lightest color. Okay, that's going to be my lightest color. All right. Now, I want a darker color, so we'll move on to the next. So you take a little bit of your white, your light color, put it over here. And you add a little bit more green to your light color. Okay. Add a little bit more green to your light color. All right. So you have this color. Okay. Now, if you want to add more to it, you can. All right. You can add more green. Okay. So mix it up well so you get a nice hue of color right there. Okay. Okay. So if you look at the back of your spoon, you're going to see your light green and your green. It's okay. Just keep mixing. Okay. Then you're going to take a little bit of this one that you've already mixed. Okay. We're going to move on to the next color. Okay. You add a little bit more green to that. Okay. So you see where this is going? You start with the white over here. All right. You add just a tad bit of green to get your light color. Okay. Sometimes it's easy for people to just use white as their light color. But if you try to get away from using white all the time, you get a nice range of colors. Okay, so now we go to this color, and see there? So now we have three colors. We have the light green, sort of like a medium green, and the darker green. Now if you want to make it a little more dark, you can always put a little bit more green in there. It's not a problem. Okay. All right. So we have three colors. We're going to move on to the fourth color. So same concept. You scoop and then you put it to the side. Okay. Now you can always make more colors because you're only using three colors, so you know what you're doing. So with your third color, with this one, we're going to do it differently. So we scoop to the side and then you put your third color in here. All right. And you mix that up. Now that's going to give you a totally different color. And we'll come to it. It'll give you like whatever color you get, that's going to be your surprise color. Okay. So I want to add a little bit more to mine. A little more copper to mine. Okay, that's right there like that. All right, and mix it all up. And you're done. Okay. All right. Okay, now we go back to our canvas or paper. Okay. Now you're going to need a masking tape. If you don't have a masking tape, it's okay. Don't panic. So we're going to do an abstract. So with masking tapes, you can use masking tapes to like divide your canvas into different parts, like make a design or not, it's all up to you. So it's just something simple, and you can turn your canvas any direction, either this way or that way, whichever way that you want. Okay, so I'm going to turn mine this way, and the paint is still a little bit wet, because we are still working with the acrylics, so that's all right. So you're going to take your masking tape and you're going to pull. Now you don't need a scissors for this. Masking tape, as you can see, just pulls right out. So, and you're going to stick it somewhere, anywhere. You make your design. Okay, now when you stick it, make sure it goes over the edge so you can take it off later. Okay, so just stick. And it doesn't have to wrap around, just so it just lays off the edge. All right. Now you don't have to push it too tight, but you can just, like I said, if you don't have masking tape, it's okay. You're just going to eyeball your abstract. It's all right. So what we're doing is we're trying to create positive and negative spaces. Okay. All right. Now you don't want too many, but for the purposes of demonstration, I'm putting another piece. All right, so now you have your stuff set up. So now it's time to paint whatever you want to paint. Now you can paint with a brush, okay, or you can chop off you can pinch it off if you want to, or you can use the whole thing to paint. Okay, you can do that too. All right. Okay, you can also paint with your fingers. Hey, it doesn't hurt. Okay, all right. Now, so you have some paint on your spoon or your palette knife. Don't let that go to waste, okay? So you're gonna take that. Now, it doesn't matter the size of the brush. You decide what size brush that you want to do, okay? So in this case, I just wanna, all this paint on my spoon, I'm not gonna let it go to waste. So I'm gonna take it and make a spot right here. And I'm gonna use the same paint and go to my corner, okay? Go to the corner and paint right at this. It doesn't have to be a big square, just a small rectangle or square, whichever, any shape that you want, right in there, okay, with your color. Okay, so then, okay, so now when that is all done, you just put it there. Now, if you're painting with the spoon, of course you're going to continue, but I'm painting with a brush, so I didn't want to waste my paint on my brush, okay? So then you go this way, all right? Okay, you can either wash your brush and use the same brush. Okay, now, so take your dark color, okay? Your dark color, your darkest color. Sorry, not your dark color. Like, take your medium color, okay? And come underneath there and do another. Paint right there, okay? All right. Then we're going to take the same dark color. We're going to go to this side and bring it down this way, okay? It doesn't matter if your stuff overlaps or not, okay? Just paint it whichever way, all right? I'm gonna wash your brush. And let the water drip. We are going to take our medium color and we're going to put it right next to that. See that? Right here. And we're going to take the same color and we're going to put it right next to that. Now, once you run out of a certain color, don't panic. Don't go and make some more because you have other colors. That's the fun about making negative and positive spaces. You have another color, so don't worry about it. If you run out of the light color, it's okay. Wherever the light color is, that's where the light color is. All right. So then you're going to take your dark color, your darkest color, okay? And you're going to bring that. Now you can put these anywhere you want to. All right, it's up to you. You can make any shape that you want to make. It's up to you what shape you want to make. Okay, now if you don't, like I said, if you don't have a masking tape, you just eyeball the shapes. All right, you're just making shapes. Okay. So continue with the dark color, and we're going to put the dark color, wherever we want to put it. So you can make a curvy shape, okay? You can also put a straight shape across that way. All right, you can do this. Wash your brush again or use another brush, okay? Depending on what you want. You can use one brush. I'm gonna use this brush. All right, and then go to your lightest color. The first color that you made, let's go to the first color that we made. Now we're gonna put that right over here. We'll put that first color right there. Right there, see there? Okay. Now you can scoop it around and let it come this way. Now try not to run into the other color. Just scoop it around and let it come that way. See? All right. Now we're still on the light color. So don't worry if it goes on the side. It's fine. Like I told you before, the sides are just aesthetics. It's not really part of the painting. Okay. Now we're going to continue with the light color. And we can bring it right down this way. Okay. Right down that way. See that? Okay. All right. Right there we go. Okay. Okay. Now, as you can see, you have a light here, then you have your 3 different shades, then you have another light, then you have that, and you have that. So you see what's going on? You're creating different spaces with different angles, okay? So abstract doesn't necessarily have to be crazy looking. You can use it, you can make it with shapes, you can make it with whatever you want, okay? All right, so we're gonna go over these guys again. Remember these guys? We're gonna go using the same color. We're gonna go over them one more time, okay? Sometimes you may have to go over it 3 or 4 times. It's fine, but it all depends on the texture that you want. If you're somebody who doesn't like texture, then you don't have to worry about it too much. But texture in a painting is exciting. So it's good to have texture. And don't worry about if you use too much paint or whatever. It's just a painting, okay? All right, so we're gonna go over these 2 again. Okay, now, remember your third color? My third color was copper, okay? So now we're gonna use your third color. So with your third color, you're not gonna mix it. You're gonna use it straight up, okay? So I'm gonna use my copper and I'm gonna go through the space right here. You can see my masking tape is lifting. That's fine. No worries there. Just go on and paint there. Okay. So whichever space that you want to put your third color, you're welcome to do that. So use your third color to fill up the rest of the spaces. So as you do this, it's like you don't even know what it's going to turn out like. That's always a surprise. You know, you can't imagine what it might turn out like, but you don't know what it's going to turn out like until you take off the masking tape. Okay? But those of you who are doing the who don't have the masking tape, you already know what it's going to look like. But those who are not who are using the masking tape, you don't know what it's going to look like yet, which makes it exciting. Make sure you cover up every section. You may have to go back. Like I said, I like texture, so I like to put a lot of texture in my paintings. This is not even enough texture right now. Usually when you let it dry, and you go back in, it's like even more vivid. So like if you're on your own time or you're practicing or you want to make something, always let the paint dry, you know, especially if you're making textures and patterns and stuff like that. Let it dry and then you go back in, and then you can actually see what it looks like. Now, acrylics dry flat. So right now it might look really rich, but then it might, when it dries, it might go a little flat in the color. So if you want it to be a little bit more vivid, then you go back in with the same colors that you had. Now we are going to put some shapes on top of the shapes, okay? So same concept, okay? We're going to start with, we're going to use the same colors that we have and put different shapes around. So you can use the same brush if you want, okay? You can have, if you have a brush with this kind of tip, that's fine. If you don't, if you have a brush as small as this, that's also okay. Okay, and if you have something as small as that, that's fine too. Okay, I'm going to use this one. Okay, so I am going to use my third color, the one that we just used to fill the spaces. This color that you use to fill the space, okay, we're going to use that color. So like an S shape. I'm going to make an S shape or a 5 shape or whatever. Okay, so it can be an S, it can be a 5. We're going to make this shape right here. Now you use it's okay if you go over the masking tape, it's fine. It kind of gives you a guide as to where you are. Okay, so we'll make that shape right there. Okay, so basically you're just making shapes. Okay, so you can choose to make like right there. Okay, see what I'm doing? You're not really doing anything difficult. Just let it flow, just free flow. Make as many shapes, but they have to be thinner shapes. You don't want them the same size as these blocks. You're making them thinner, okay? As you make the shapes, just remember to not make too many. You let it dry if you want to. You can make it wet too, that's fine. Sometimes a wet look is even better, you know. Okay. And like always, you wash your brush out. Okay. And then grab another color. If you still have some light color left, you can use it. If you don't, that's fine. Use the next lightest color. And then you can go in and place those right next to the swirl you just made. All right, so here we go. Okay, I'm stretching the light color a little bit. You can use a light color or your next lightest color. That's fine. And just keep putting it up. Just keep putting it in. All right. Now don't push too tight, too hard. Don't push too hard. Just like floating on water. Just like floating on water. It's very light because you can always add. Okay, but you don't want to ruin the design. So just a little flow, that's all. You don't want it to okay, whatever guides you to put a shape. You don't have to make swirls like I'm doing. If you want to do like a rectangle or a square or whatever it is that you want to do, you're welcome to. Okay, so now I'm going to my dark color. If you have some left, great. If you don't, just go to the next darkest color. Okay, but don't mix up any more paint because your space or your painting block should be kind of full by now. So mixing up more paint is just going to be a waste. So right now what we're doing is we're trying to put as much paint as what we have left to make shapes without compromising the whole intent. Okay, that's why you use a thin brush. So it just kind of like gives an accent to what you're doing. Now you see right here, I have a little bleeding into my thing. It's okay, you can leave it that way. But if you don't want to leave it that way, it's a simple fix. You just That's if you have some of the color left. If you have some of the color left, you just go over it. See, and you get rid of it right there. Okay? If you don't have any other color left, that's okay. All right. Okay. And then we can take another. You can take any other color. And then we can put that. So basically you keep going and you keep forming. Are you having fun? All right. That's what I want to hear. You should be having fun. If you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. You better be having fun. Okay, so I'm just going over my other color again because I have some left over, and I'm just trying to put it in different places. So you can do the same if you want to. So basically we're just putting finishing touches to our painting, okay? Just putting finishing touches to it. Finishing touches. Now don't forget, we still got to remove the masking tape if you use the masking tape. If you did not use the masking tape, then you should know what your painting is looking like, and you're getting ready to let it dry. For those of you who use the masking tape, we'll give it a few minutes while we're doing all of this. By the time we're done fixing this up, it should be okay. Okay, so now your sides, okay? You can use some of the extra paint on your sides if you still want to give it a little bit of an oomph. You can still, now it doesn't have to be the same color that you used originally, okay? It can be different colors. You can decide to make the sides different colors for each side. That's fine too. All right. As you can see, painting, I'm not a neat painter because I know it's going to wash off, so I don't mind it going on me or going on the table, because after I'm done, you just take some water and some Dawn. Dawn is always magical. And you just wipe it off. And it's back to normal. You can see, remember when I said it dries light? So you can see, if I can get it closer, see it's light now. So when it dries, it's going to get light. So you just add a little bit more to make it a little darker or a little brighter. Now if you have an extra color that you want to go on the sides, you're welcome to do that too. Okay, so like right there on the side, you can put some of your dark color there. You know, you can do a design on the side if you want. No big deal. Now be careful it doesn't go into your original painting. You're just doing it on the sides. It doesn't have to be pretty. You don't want to make it into perfection. Just giving some aesthetics to your painting, the edge of your painting. Because usually when you hang a painting, you want it to vibrate. So if your sides are not good looking, it'll still vibrate, but it gives it an extra oomph when your sides are good looking. It draws people into your paint when it's on the wall. Like, oh, because it's the reflection of whatever it's on the side that's bouncing off of what's on the paint. All right, so while we're doing all of this, stuff should be drying. Over here should be drying. So we're going to see in a minute what it looks like. Now once we rip off the masking tape, then you should be able to tell how you like it and how you don't. Now when you rip off the masking tape and you want to put some more color, you're welcome to do that. But just remember, you don't want to mess with it too much. Give it a chance to dry. Sometimes when it dries completely, you'll be able to see. Okay, so we are into it right there. Okay, so now we're going to rip off our masking tape. Not rip it off, but take it out. Okay, so I'm going to start with this side. Okay, you take your masking tape off slowly. Okay, so you're going to run into this one on this side. Okay, so you just take that. You can use the tip of your brush to lift it. Okay, and slowly pull that out. Okay. All right, so slowly get your masking tape off. Okay. Okay, so when you get your masking tape off, you should have something. Doesn't have to be exactly this way. You should have something close to that. Okay? All right, hope you had fun. We'll see you soon. Bye.